Picture two apartments. Same city, same neighborhood, about the same rent. In the first apartment lives someone making $118,000 a year. Huge TV, expensive couch, kitchen gadgets that look like they need Wi-Fi. The closet is jammed. The counters are crowded. The spare bedroom is no longer a bedroom. It's a holding cell for old shopping decisions. And this person checks their bank account like it just texted, "We need to talk." In the second apartment lives someone making $61,000 a year. Smaller TV, simple couch, a kitchen with tools that actually get dirty because they actually get used. The closet has clothes that get worn. The shelves aren't buckling. And the spare bedroom? Still doing the wildly controversial thing called being a bedroom. This person has savings, investments, breathing room. Same city, same neighborhood. Very different level of financial peace.
I make decent money. I'm not out here buying yachts. So why do I still feel broke?
Because a lot of people don't have a money problem. They have a life that costs too much to maintain problem.
That was smart and a little violent.
In this video, we're getting into the minimalist money rules that separate people who look successful from people who are quietly building freedom. And here's the part most people miss. A lot of the stuff you own keeps charging you long after you paid for it. Most people think every purchase has one cost, the price tag. That's cute. Jordan, name one thing you bought because you were sure it was going to change your life.
The treadmill.
Of course, the bald eagle of upper middle class guilt. That treadmill didn't cost Jordan one price. It cost the sticker price, sure, but then it kept sending invoices. Floor space, cleaning, maintenance. That layer of dust on the belt that quietly says, "We both know what happened here." And then there's the emotional tax, walking past it every day while it stares at you like a disappointed gym teacher. And it's not just treadmills. That bread maker, that air fryer with startup founder energy, that chair you bought because you thought it would turn you into a focused, disciplined machine. Some purchases are not helping your life. They are just sitting there, taking up room, looking smug. Here's the shift. Everything you own has two price tags. The first one is money. The second one is what it keeps pulling from your life after the sale. Usually that second cost shows up in four ways. Space. It takes up room. Time. It needs cleaning, storing, fixing, moving. Attention. It adds noise to your brain. Opportunity. The money stuck in it could have been building your future instead. Minimalists don't avoid stuff because they hate nice things. They avoid bad deals. And once you start seeing ownership this way, a lot of dream purchases stop looking like rewards and start looking like subscriptions with attitude. And before I show you how minimalists shut down bad purchases fast, you need to see why people with good incomes still feel stuck. Jordan is not doing anything movie-level stupid. He's not gambling. He's not buying a jet ski every April. He's not setting cash on fire for the mood lighting. He's just upgrading.
I work hard. If my phone is old, I replace it. If my couch looks tired, I swap it out. That's normal.
It's normal. It's also how your couch ends up with a stronger retirement plan than you.
This is what gets people. Most financial stress doesn't come from one dramatic disaster. It comes from tidy, respectable overspending. A nicer couch, a newer phone, a better car, a wardrobe refresh because you deserve it. A kitchen so upgraded, it looks like the appliances are about to launch a podcast called Sip and Sear. None of it feels reckless on its own. That's why it works so well. Lifestyle creep doesn't show up wearing a ski mask. It shows up wearing loafers. It looks polished. It looks earned. It looks like adulthood. And then 1 week rent hits, insurance hits, your subscriptions hit, and suddenly you're making good money and still sweating in front of your banking app. Minimalism cuts across that pattern with one annoying truth. Just because your income goes up does not mean your life has to swell with it. That's the trap. If every raise turns into a more expensive version of normal, then more money won't buy freedom. It'll just rent you a shinier cage. So how do you tell whether a purchase is useful or whether you're just bored, marketed to, or trying to dress your insecurity in brushed nickel and premium fabric. Now it gets good, because 2 small questions can kill most bad purchases before they ever hit your cart.
I didn't get more stable by turning into some discipline robot. I just started asking better questions before I bought things.
That sounds way more believable than wake up at 4:30, drink mushroom powder, achieve enlightenment in neutral tone joggers.
A lot of people try to fix their money after the fact with budgets. Budgets help, but they usually show up after the package is already on the porch and your future self is already annoyed. So if you want this to change, you need filters before the purchase. Question 1. What's the cost per use? Not how much is it? Ask, how much am I really paying every time I use this thing? A $300 coat worn 150 times? Great buy. A $70 kitchen gadget used twice? That's not a tool. That's a guest appearance. Question 2. Would I replace this if it vanished tomorrow?
Honestly, no.
Then congrats, you do not own a bread maker. You own shelf anxiety. These questions matter because they go straight for the fantasy. Minimalism, a lot of the time, is just learning to stop shopping for your imaginary life. Your imaginary life bakes artisan bread, camps twice a month, and hosts candlelit wine nights with handwritten place cards. Your real life eats reheated leftovers and watches crime documentaries in one sock. And that's fine. That's a real life. But here's the problem. People can know all of this and still overspend. Why? Because knowledge is flimsy when your whole environment is set up to make spending stupidly easy. Most people fall apart right here because they're relying on self-control in a world where you can buy a $200 mistake in 11 seconds. Your phone can order nonsense faster than you can remember your cousin's birthday. That's not an accident. That's the whole machine. Online shopping is built like a casino that discovered soft lighting and beige branding, saved cards, push alerts, countdown timers. Only 2 left. No, there are not 2 left. There are 8,000 left. They're just poking the lizard in your skull and hoping it grabs the card. Then we blame ourselves for not being disciplined enough. Minimalists do something smarter. They make spending annoying and saving automatic. That means delete shopping apps, remove saved card info, wait 24 hours before non-essential purchases, keep a list instead of buying on the spot, move money into savings and investments on payday before you get cute with it.
I stopped trying to become stronger than temptation. I just made temptation a hassle.
Exactly. Minimalism isn't only about what leaves your home. It's also about what stops breezing through the front door in a cardboard box. But even if you fix impulse spending, one leak can still wreck years of progress, upgrading things that already work. And here's the catch. If you keep replacing good working stuff just because you're bored of looking at it, you can stay broke on a great salary. One of the most expensive habits in modern life is upgrading out of boredom. Phone still works? Upgrade. Car still runs? Upgrade. Couch still exists? Apparently an emergency.
Okay, but sometimes your stuff just stops being your vibe.
And sometimes your vibe costs $600 more than it should. This is where consumer culture gets slippery. It trains you to treat boredom like a product defect. Your life isn't broken. Your objects are just no longer new enough to keep feeding the feeling. Minimalism answers that with something deeply uncool and wildly useful. If it works, that matters. Not always, not in every case, but way more often than advertising would ever admit. Because the real goal is not owning as little as possible. It's owning what earns its place. And what does that get you? Not just a cleaner apartment, not just emptier countertops. It gives you room to choose. Can you leave a job that's wrecking you? Can you handle an emergency? Can you take a risk? Can you breathe for a second without your lifestyle sitting on your chest? That's what money is for. Not just objects, options. The person making $118,000 and spending almost all of it has less freedom than the person making $61,000 with margin. That's why minimalism works, not because it's trendy, because a lighter life is cheaper to carry. And if you want to know whether your life is actually getting lighter or just looking shinier from the outside, there's one last word you need to figure out. It comes down to one word: enough. So no, minimalism is not about living with nothing. It's about making sure the things you own aren't quietly making your life heavier.
Less clutter, less pressure, less money leaking into stuff that doesn't make life better.
And more breathing room, more savings, more peace, more of that feeling that one bad surprise won't knock the whole thing sideways.
Also, fewer purchases that start as self-care and end as dust collectors.
Exactly. The goal is not to look successful. The goal is to build a life that feels lighter, calmer, and easier to carry. But this is where a lot of people blow it. They hear a message like this, they get fired up. They go home, they open one closet, and suddenly they're decluttering like they're trying to win a game show called Extreme Regret. Useful things go, seasonal things go, stuff they actually need goes. Then 3 months later, they're annoyed. They're rebuying half of it, and now they think minimalism is the problem.
Which is a very expensive way to miss the point.
Exactly. So if this video showed you why owning less can make you financially stronger, the next video shows you how to avoid doing minimalism in a way that makes your life worse. Because a lot of the minimalist advice online sounds smart and falls apart the second real life walks in wearing winter boots and carrying groceries. In video 2, I'm breaking down the rules that cause the most regret. Rules like, if you haven't used it in 6 months, get rid of it. Your wardrobe should only have a certain number of items. Keep only what sparks joy. Those sound great online. Then real life shows up with weather, children, jobs, long commutes, and the rude discovery that not everybody lives in a beige studio apartment with one bowl and no winter. So if you've ever decluttered something and regretted it, if you've ever bought back something you proudly donated, or if you want a version of minimalism that works in an actual human life, watch video 2 next. And if you want more videos like this, about money, minimalism, investing, and building wealth without turning your life into a performance, subscribe to the channel, because this channel is not about guilt, not about perfection, and definitely not about pretending you need 3 forks and 1 emotionally unavailable lamp. It's about thinking clearly, spending better, owning smarter, and building more freedom over time. So subscribe, watch video 2, and I'll see you there.